Perception controls your life. How you see life, what you believe, creates your life. Hello again, everybody. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. You know, one of the things that's important about moving forward in life is taking time to reflect, to review, to see where you've been, to see where you're going. Okay, reflection should be a regular thing. You should reflect on your why. And you should do this not just on New Year's Eve where you make your resolutions. You should do this on a regular basis. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to reflect on what we've done so far with Project Eli, the why and because, and you can take a look and kind of check off the boxes and see what you've learned, what you need to learn, and how you can move forward. Okay, please listen along as Eli and I discuss Project Eli so far. Okay, Eli, you know, reflection should be a regular thing. It should not be something you do just once a year, New Year's Eve. You make your resolutions. Tony Robbins tells us that by the 15th of January, 95% of all people that made resolutions have already broken them. All right, so if you want to be successful, reflection is something you have to do on a regular basis. The purpose of Project Eli, for me, was to mentor my son and also to share some of the things that I've been taught by my mentors, my experiences, so that he and others can move forward. So the first thing I want to talk about is, why do you need a mentor? All right. One of the reasons you need a mentor is because 95% of the people out there are not successful. What you want to do is you want to find the 5%ers that are successful and copy what they do. Kind of simple as that. You want to model success. Now, what happens when you have the 95% crowd the way it is similar to when I used to coach basketball. I would have my basketball practice Monday through Friday, and I would dread the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Why? Because the influences of the 95% crowd are very, very strong. So you constantly have to be feeding the right information on a regular basis. When there's a lull in presenting the information, it affects people in a negative way. So that's why I always try to have a Saturday practice whenever I could, so there was only one day when the kids weren't there. And this way I could keep them on track. All right? Now, the first thing that we talked about in Project Eli was the importance of having a positive mental attitude. Attitude determines altitude. I included in my positive mental attitude formula a blueprint for how to have a positive mental attitude. People talk about it all the time, but they don't tell you, how do I do it? If you haven't seen that video, I recommend that you do it, because a positive mental attitude is critical. The next thing that we discussed was goal setting and the success formula. Well, once again, everybody tells you, do you have some goals? What are your goals? Do you have them written down? What are you doing about your goals? But once again, they don't tell you how to do it. In my video on goal setting, I go over step by step by step by step. I do that from personal experience and also from a book called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, which is a tremendously short book, but a book packed with information that I strongly recommend that you read. If you're not setting goals, if you're not looking at things the right way, if you're not pursuing things in an orderly fashion, if you don't understand the why and because of goal setting, it would be a very important thing to know. Then, of course, there's the success formula. People out there, the 95% crowd, they look at people that are successful and they say, well, he achieved it this way, she achieved it that way. All right, this company is successful because of this, and that company is successful because of that. There's a trend, whatever. But you know what? The formula for success is always the same. There's a step by step by step process that you need to use. The most important thing being is getting to the starting line and taking action. However, The success formula is something, like I said, is always the same. You want to follow it. And not only that, but the success formula for an individual is critical to understand if you are ever going to be a leader and lead an organization. The next thing we talked about was the owner's manual for your brain, planting seeds, creative thinking, and as Stuart Wilde likes to say, creating miracles. And he says that by saying, you're not really creating miracles, but this is how you create miracles. All right? All right. One of the things that's very important is that you understand the way that your brain works. You understand that there's a conscious mind. You understand that there's a subconscious mind. You understand how to use the conscious mind and the subconscious mind to move you forward, to understand how to plant seeds in your brain. That's how creativity evolves. It's not something that just happens. Creativity is something where you have your focus and you get the help of the universe to help you, to give you ideas. That's part of the success formula. The universe wants us to be successful, but one of the key things is if you have just casual thoughts, and we have 60,000 of them every single day, 60,000 different thoughts according to expert, and if you don't have singleness of purpose on a particular outcome, the universe is not inspired to help you. I strongly recommend that you look at the owner's manual for your brain to figure out exactly how this thing works, because one of the things that the universe did not give us was an owner's manual. And so what we end up doing is we end up following the thinking process used by the 95% crowd. And people in the 95% crowd, they think the same way, they do the same things. People in the 5% group that are successful, they also think the same way and do the same things. Only their line of thinking is different. Their focus is different. They're not distracted. I strongly recommend that you watch the owner's manual for your brain so that you can understand how the subconscious mind works. And I've also given a blueprint for how to be more creative, how to develop ideas, how to achieve the miracles that you want to achieve. The next thing that we talked about was is relationships, and more importantly, your relationship with the universe. All right, I touched on that a little bit a moment ago, but keep in mind that you have to understand that there is in fact a universal planner, an infinite mind, because the order of things on this planet and the universe is just, it can't be coincidence. The way electrons circle an atom, the way the planets circle the sun, the way the solar system circles, all the things have a particular order to them. And one of the things that's important to figure out is your relationship to the universe. Where do you fit in? One of the things that you need to figure is, it's kind of like a chess game, and the universe is the one that's the grand master. The universe is playing with us. We're the pieces. And you have to realize where you are on the board, what moves you have to make, and you have to realize the whole scheme of things in your relationship with the universe. All right? Keep in mind, the universe does want to help you. That's how we got from Cro-Magnon man to the present day, and that's why we are learning things at an unbelievably rapid clip. They say that there's new information, and new information doubles every 2.5 to 3 years right now, and it's getting faster and faster and faster. The modern technology is evidence of that fact. You can see how quickly things are growing, new devices, new ideas. So understanding your relationship to the universe is a key element. Okay. Another thing that we talked about is you become your habits, and then your habits become you. What kind of habits? Well, getting off to a good start every day by seizing the day. Do you wake up, is the first thing that you do go to your devices and check on Facebook or Snapchat or whatever all the other things are? I'm not super privy to all of those. I'm cognizant of them. I have people help me with them because they're important, because they're part of today's technology. However, the first thought that I have during the day is not to go to Snapchat and see how Joe Blow did yesterday, or Joe Blow's problems, or the achievements that Sarah Smith made. My focus is on what's important to me, my desired outcome, my burning desire. That's got to be your first focus. And what happens is people, when they go to their devices right away, they get distracted. They start thinking about other things. Who should be controlling your thoughts and your attitude? Because your attitude gets controlled by different things and different thoughts. You should be controlling your attitude every single day. And one of the things that we also talk about in terms of your habits is the negative habit of procrastination, how to overcome procrastination, how to get to the starting line, how to move forward. Once you get to the starting line, you build momentum. And when you build momentum, you're going to come to another roadblock, but you know what? You create a new starting line. That's how it gets done. So you want to be the captain of your ship. That's the key point. Don't let other people control what you do, your thoughts, your ambitions. That's for you to control, and you have to. And one of the ways to do that is to step out of your comfort zone. And we talk about stepping out of the comfort zone. You see, Eli, this Project Eli is the things that they don't teach you in school. These are the things that are necessary to be an achiever. This is why we're going over these things. Next thing we want to talk about is leadership. Oh, leadership is everything. It's everything. An organization can only advance to the level of its leadership. And when you have an organization with poor leadership, it doesn't do too much. Leadership is absolutely everything. But here's the key point about leadership. And this is something that I haven't really heard other people say, but it's such a simple concept. What is leadership? Leadership is taking the success formula, the things that make one individual, that make you successful, and transposing them to a group of people. To be a success, you have to have a burning desire. To be a success, you have to have goals. To be a success, you have to have a positive mental attitude. You have to be focused. Just to name a few. All right? These things are all in the success formula. So once you as the leader get your people to have those habits, those attributes, then your organization is going to move forward. That's the job of the leader, is to get those particular habits working for the organization. It's as simple as that. Now, how you do that, that's the art of leadership. The leader has to be a cheerleader. The leader has to inspect what's going on. Just as on the individual side of the success formula, you have to inspect your results. And you want to keep people moving forward. They're going to run into roadblocks, just the same way as you need to be creative to achieve your particular goals. The team needs to be creative to achieve their particular goals. But one of the advantages you have is that you have more minds working when you've sold the desired outcome to the team, helping you with new ideas, getting you to new starting lines, getting you to new creative concepts. That's what it's all about, right? So because we're all entrepreneurs. You wake up in the morning, you've got your finances to worry about, you've got your day to plan, you've got everything to plan. So whether you like it or not, you are an entrepreneur. So you want to get your thinking in line with the success formula. And as a leader, what you want to do is, it's not necessary for people to understand the success formula. The example I always like to give is, I don't understand anything about cars, but I do know how to turn a key, put my foot on the gas, and move the car forward. Get people to turn the key, put their foot on the gas, and move forward. That's what leadership is all about. And I have a fairly succinct teaching videos on that, and I strongly recommend that if you have any desire whatsoever to be a leader, that you watch those and you understand those. And even if you don't want to be a leader, you should understand what leadership's all about. All right? Because everybody's a leader. If ever you have children, don't you lead your children? Everybody is a leader. right? The next thing I want to talk about is the art of persuasion, sales. Everything is a sales job. If you want to be persuasive with people, you have to sell them on your ideas, on your concepts, on what it is that you want, and make it something that they want, right? You don't want to sell them, by pushing on them, but what you want to do is be persuasive. And if you get, be persuasive and get people to want the same thing that you want, because it logically makes sense for them. They see themselves moving forward. That's what a sale is all about. When somebody goes into a home and they're selling, example, roofing, you want to point out to them that, hey, you don't get this roof, this is what's going to happen. All right? Or if you get this roof, these are the features, advantages, and benefits that you're going to be able to acquire. That's what it's all about, the art of persuasion. And there's a step-by-step process. Approach, warm-up, presentation, close, that you use in the art of sales. We go over all of those in details. And for those people that are in the sales field, we go over all of the different possibilities of things that go on during a sales presentation, how to make a presentation, how to talk, how to be entertaining somewhat. These are all the things that we go over, and I strongly recommend that if you want to be a success in any endeavor, that you master the art of persuasion and that you check out the art of sales. The next thing we talk about is time and its relation to the universe and how that relationship affects you. Now, we're on this planet, compared to the way the universe measures time, it's a blink of an eye. That's how long you're here. You're not here very long. So one of the things that you want to figure out is, what are the important things to do with my time? That's a key element. We have a series on time, why it's important, how to manage it, and just the key elements about time. Because when you talk to people and they say, well, I'd like to do that, but I don't have enough time. Well, I got some news for you. The people that are the super successful people, the Bill Gateses, the Jeff Bezos, the super successful people, they have exactly the same amount of time in a day that you have. They're just managing their time better. They're just more productive with their time than most people are. So time is an essential thing to focus on, and it's essential also to understand your relationship, time, and the universe. The next thing we want to talk about is the formula to prosper and not give up. We all go through periods in our lives, ups and downs, where things aren't going right. And when that happens, we get discouraged. That's one of the reasons, a good reason to have a mentor, by the way, because a mentor, one of the jobs of a mentor is to not let you get discouraged. But in life, everybody gets discouraged. Everybody has feelings of anger. Everybody has regrets. One of the things that you want to do is always be in a position where you're moving forward. And when you get discouraged, people just want to give up. Well, there's a formula to not giving up. When you're down, I always like to say, I'm so far down, I have to look up to look down. All right? Everybody's been there. I've been there. Everybody I know has been there. Okay? The people that are successful have all been there. But somehow they were able to overcome. So what is the step-by-step formula, the mindset that you need, the actions that you need to take? You want to develop a sort of a snowball effect where you're a little snowball at the top of the hill and you're just moving around a little bit and you're gathering more and more and more snow until you get to the bottom of the hill where you're a great big glacier and your momentum is making you more successful. So in that video, we talk about how to go from being very discouraged and feeling like giving up to how to get started, how to have the correct mindset, and how to prosper. Okay? All in all, if I was summing up everything that we do on Project Eli, is that success is simple but not easy. And one of the things that people do not do is they do not pay attention to nature. The universe, as we said earlier, wants us to be successful. Nature, the universe, has given us certain laws, just like the laws of gravity, the laws of electricity, and these laws work without prejudice, and they don't make judgments. So they'll work on the positive side, and they'll work on the negative side. Just the same way as if the most evil man in the whole planet is sitting under an apple tree and an apple falls, it's always going to fall down. And if the most virtuous man in the planet is sitting under the same apple tree, the apple's going to fall down. The laws always work, and they don't make judgments. There is no good or bad, because good or bad changes, for one thing, okay? But the universe doesn't make judgments. What the universe does is the earth is always going to revolve around the sun. The moon is always going to revolve around the earth. These are universal laws. These are things that we have to understand. We have to figure them out. We don't always know why. We don't always know why. But when they have a cause and effect relationship, we must take advantage of them to move ourselves forward. And the way that you find these things out is when you talk to these 5%ers. What did you do to get from point A to point B to point C? I did this, I did this, I did this. And as we mentioned earlier, they're always doing the same things to be successful. The formula is the same. They get the same results. They plant seeds. They have a singleness of purpose. They take steps forward. They look at failure as feedback and not as ultimate failure. Not as they treat it as their teacher and not their undertaker. I mean, these are all the things that you want to realize. These are all the laws of nature that will move you forward. These are included in the videos that we have on Project Eli, and I strongly recommend that you take a look at them if you haven't seen them, and you can go through and you can pick out the ones that match your individual issue. And if you have questions, send them in the comment section. Ask me a question. I'll direct you to, the answer that you're looking for. You know why I'm doing that? Because somebody did it for me. Not just somebody, 3 or 4. I had 3 or 4 different mentors and people that were like mini mentors. So you want to take a look at people that are successful, that have achieved what you want to achieve, and copy what they do. Okay? That's looking back, reflecting on what we've done so far on Project Eli. I strongly recommend that you go back and review these videos if you have a particular issue. And the other thing that's very important is in order to own something, you have to take it in more than one time. The example I like to give is I learned closes driving back and forth, over a period of 2 months, listening to the same tape over and over and over again from the number one salesperson, the number one closer on the planet. And then when it came my turn to close, I was this guy. I was him. I had memorized it. I listened to it so many hundreds of times. So if you want to advance, if you want to learn something, you have to learn it through repetition. All right? So that's my advice. I want to thank you for watching Project Eli, and I want to tell you what we're going to have next time. What we're going to do is we're going to have an example of actual coaching with a business, and also how that relates to you as an individual. Remember that the same principles that make a business move forward also work as an individual. Actually, it's the other way around. The same principles that make an individual move forward also work for a business. So we're talking about mindset, we're talking about strategy, and we're going to take a particular business that's kind of on the brink and say, this is where they are, this is what we need to do, and this is the culture that we need to create. And we're going to have a 2-part video on that, so that you'll be able to see how business people, the leaders should be thinking. Our thought for the day: repetition means retention. And because we never end a meeting on a philosophical note, let's all get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.